Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram, he's at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we are talking Carlos King getting dragged on his own platform, on his own show, and everything else by none other than Crystal from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and Cynthia being weird for some reason, which we'll talk about in a second. But the irony of this, and I just need to say the quiet part out loud, if this was a black woman, one of two things would have happened, right? Like what happened with So Gucci when she tried to call him out on his own podcast. He tried to shut her down, cut her off, and then scold her, and then ignored her after that, never spoke to her again. And then, when it was Melody Cherie and they were at the podcast together, and she told him to his face that she did not feel protected as a black woman and all this and that. And he tried to pivot and make it seem like he wasn't as involved in the show, which is a crock of nonsense, and then pivoted and brought out Sonny and Moses, only for his big master plan to go on a full-on attack on Melody Cherie and the Mel supporters and Millimeters and just attack her at every angle. So it was at the point that Mel would have no other choice but to go. You top it off at the reunion with Destiny making GROOIMNG allegations, which is just the epitome of disgusting, right? And it was similar fashion as to how the, attempted Candy takedown took place on RHOBH season 9. So Crystal says in this interview, she's like, basically talking about how somebody wasn't who she thought she was. And she was basically saying, you, Carlos King, as somebody who is supposed to be a producer, you understand that there's only so much of a storyline that a housewife can be able to present on the show. And that, when you sign up for the show, you don't have control over how you're going to be portrayed. You could be portrayed as an angel, a villain, or you could be portrayed as boring or excited or somebody who is just always instigating or whatever. And so nonetheless, she was saying as well, she doesn't have the platform to get on here and try to change minds of the viewing public. And she feels as though sometimes, Carlos King, you're just flat out wrong on your takes. You are absolutely wrong. And so Carlos King, he's all like, well, that's totally fine. My podcast, it's, an expert opinion since I was a producer since 2008. And this is what Crystal's like, well, that's the piece that doesn't make sense to me. Crystal's basically like, essentially, there's other people who watch the show, whether it be fans, bloggers, YouTubers, content creators, whomever, and they are looking at the show from a limited perspective. They don't have that producer background or that director background or anything that is setting up the scene, setting up the storylines, or, being one-on-one with these housewives to, produce a show and edit out scenes and put together a 42-minute show. And so they don't know some of the things as far as reading between the lines because they don't have that production background. And so Carlos King was like, well, I think I do in my defense, and da-da-da-da-da. And so here comes Cynthia interrupting, talking about, well, we're I see where we're going, hopefully we can get here. And so Carlos King is like, no, this is good. And Cynthia, see, I think y'all can leave and be, BFFs after this. Y'all could be, thick as thieves after this. No. And Carlos King is like, I feel like we already are. And so here goes Carlos King again, talking about, well, let's have a real conversation. The real reason why, my podcast, it's an expert opinion based on my profession in the business. I see things the average audience sees that they deem wrong, or they're going to have see my takes and just say that it's wrong anyways. And I know how the sausage is made, y'all. And I know the psychology of the women who sign on to the show. And so I'll give you an example, because I'll keep it focused here on just, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And he's like, well, I called out the fact that Garcelle and Sutton's friendship, wasn't really legitimate. It was just based off of them both being on the show and da-da-da-da-da. And both Garcelle and both Sutton, they retweeted that I was wrong. But based off of the reunion, they're not friends anymore to what the degree that I was sold. So I feel I was right to the masses because I saw it this way for 3 years. No. And so Crystal is like, well, listen, looky here. Like, this is a show. Reality TV is not a show designed for you to have natural friendships. Like it's not. It's always set up for there to be drama. Or for, or I'll say it, people faking drama so that they don't have to show their real lives. And so essentially people are in alliances. There are friendships that are of their, for the simple fact of convenience, or if you're trying to ice out a housewife or all this and that. And so nonetheless, what Crystal says is, what I can speak to is the show for 8 months out the year doesn't film. And what I can speak to as far as Garcelle and Sutton is they hung out, they spoke a lot when the show wasn't filming. And so she says from her perspective of seeing the breakdown of what happened at the reunion, which was really 2 of the 3 reunions Garcelle was just piled up on. And all these women just wanted to be like an attack dog against her. They know what they were doing. Essentially, you saw a real friendship be broken. You saw a real friendship be broken. Now, yes, there was a component to this that, yes, you're working, yes, you're doing a reality show, but Garcelle, I think, was blindsided because she thought this was a real friendship with Sutton. And so she's done with all these people. But nonetheless, it's just interesting. I wish, and I can tell with these Bravo housewives that they have no idea what is going on at the O Network. They have no idea what is going on at Bell Collective. They have no clue what's going on in Love and Marriage DC. They have no clue on what's going on at Love and Marriage Detroit. They have no clue on what is going on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Otherwise, Carlos King would be getting dragged a lot more, right? But nonetheless, this is why he has this Bravo obsession, because as long as people are going to, only see him as the former producer of Real Housewives of Atlanta, they're not going to see how far things go on these other shows, and they're not going to know the number of Black women in particular, including former housewife Monique Samuels, who basically called Carlos King out and said that, he was supposed to treat me better than the Bravo network, and he did me dirty. He did me worse, but he played the race card to get me to sign on to the show and sell me as the face of the show, only to have my edit look worse in my first season, even then compared to what I went through at Bravo. Like make it make sense. And so, you have, like I said, Monique Samuels, you have, Melody Cherie Rogers, you have Akeisha, who quit live on air, you've got So Gucci, you got Marie from Bell Collective, who briefly called him out, but then retracted. That's what happened, right? And then, of course, Winter from Love and Marriage DC and other people have called out Carlos King, has specifically called out not feeling protected as Black women, has specifically called out, egging on certain things, you know, to the point that they're trying to figure out how much does Carlos King know, or does he sign this behavior off, where it is, you know, set up for just certain people to just continue to be attacked every season. And then you get away with the nonsense and the foolishness because nothing ever gets resolved. So they break everything up into they break up a season into 2 parts. So 1, you're basically working for Monopoly money, and then 2, it gives the people who shouldn't be on the show, who do not have a storyline, whose storyline is basically set up to attack you and be the instigator, it gives them, you know, more camera time. It gives them something to do. It is supposed to be an ensemble cast where everybody's supposed to be bringing something of substance, but you continue to just go for the mess. But it's not even fun mess or fun shade. It is just, you know, completely dark, completely inappropriate, completely too far and out of bounds, and where people have to get their legal team involved and said, listen, you're not allowed. Not only am I quitting the show, you're not allowed to use my name or my likeness in any future episodes or any future seasons. You're not even allowed to reference me at this point, because that is how bad it gets when you are talking Carlos King. And the Surviving Carlos King documentary that Kempire did, I would recommend Crystal watching that if she's got some time, because it really just highlights, you know, at least on Carlos King's tenure on OWN, like how much of a mess it is, right? And we're not even talking about the issues that have happened, you know, from Real Housewives of Atlanta, or from what happened when him and Todd had produced that other show that Elise Neal had an accident and had to sue and everything else. Like, it's just a lot of tomfoolery. But I'm here for Carlos King obviously getting dragged and called to the carpet, but he definitely wouldn't have had that same energy if it was, you know, like I said, somebody like Soguchi or Aikisha or somebody trying to hold him accountable and hold him to the carpet for his actions. So nonetheless, there is that. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.